Hello, hello. Good morning. Hopefully everybody can hear me. So that's my first question. Can you guys hear me? We're good? Give me the thumbs up if so. Good, good. Okay, good morning, guys. Okay, so first things first, I just want to take a second just to sit here and say how blessed I feel right now to be a part of Vital Health at this moment, right? We were talking about it last night, my husband and I'm just like, I just feel so blessed. If you guys feel this, if you feel so blessed to be here right now at this moment with Vital Health, put me in the comments. I want to see a bunch of me's in the comments. Me. Yeah, awesome. Yes. Okay, so first things first, okay? My name is Shanna Hunter. For those of you who don't know who I am a mom of four. I live in New Jersey. I have been an ERRN for about, wow, I don't even know now. My son is 19 years old. So I graduated while my son was still in my stomach. Okay. So probably 19 years I have been an ER nurse. And then I was able to actually retire from bedside nursing because of this beautiful industry that I love. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. And we're going to get spicy today. Is everybody okay with that? We're going to get spicy today. Okay, so very first thing that I want to ask you guys, what I know this sounds crazy, but just go with it, okay? We'll get there. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Share what your favorite ice cream flavor is in the comments. I want to see all the different flavors for me. Anytime that you see cheesecake in anything, I'm sorry, I'm all about it. Strawberry cheesecake, chocolate cheesecake, all those kind of flavors. That is all about me. I love the chunks. So good. Okay. Cookies and cream, cappuccino. Oh, cappuccino, pistachio. Girl, you like that Dubai chocolate stuff? So good. Okay. Peppermint. Ooh, peppermint. Rocky Road. A lot of peppermint. There's another peppermint. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's a point to this, guys. Okay. So you see this variety. You see the variety of different flavors. Chocolate. Okay. Chocolate chip mint. Everybody has a different flavor that they love, right? And so today's topic is going to be a little bit spicy. It's going to be how to stop being vanilla. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, I know peppermint sounds amazing. I think I'm going to have to try some of you guys' favorites. Okay, so do you notice that hardly anybody said vanilla? I mean, there's going to be some people who like vanilla, but there was like hardly anyone who said vanilla, right? You guys like stuff that's a little bit interesting, right? More interesting, okay? So I'm going to share a little bit about my story and then I'm going to get into why I chose this topic today because it's something that somebody said I love vanilla. You can love vanilla, right? But just know that there's so many different people out there that love many, many different flavors, right? Okay, so in life, we go through a lot of struggles, right? And before I came into this industry, I was a full-time ER nurse and I used to work overtime just to make ends meet. And when I say just to make ends meet, guys, I want you to understand what that means. Okay. We knew exactly how much to go negative in our bank account every single time we had to pay a bill. We already knew how much we can go negative in our bank account and still make it when we get our next paycheck. Okay. And that was me working full time as an ERRN, my husband working overtime. He did warehouse management. Okay. And we were constantly swimming. By Wednesday of every single week, we were like praying for Friday. Right. And so when this industry came into my life, I couldn't put my kids, I had this like pivotal moment, and it was that my son loved, at the time he was in karate, right? And taekwondo, actually. And it was so expensive. I mean, I don't know how it is over where you live, but in New Jersey, okay, taekwondo is very, very expensive. And to get every single belt, you had to pay more, right? And so we were at this time where we're like, oh my God, we know how much we can be negative in our bank account. And guess what? We can't afford this pelt test. Like, we cannot afford this right now. And when that hit me, and I'm like, I am not going to tell my son that I have to pull him out of something that he loves and tell him no, right? And when I realized that that may be something I had to do, I was like, something's got to give. I got to change my life. Something, we were struggling so much all the time. I mean, if you live in a place where you can take out payday loans, and when that payday loan place knows you by name, okay, like things like that, guys. I was just like at this pivotal moment when network marketing came into my life. Okay. But even if we wanted to go back before that and talk about struggles, right? I grew up in a completely abusive, dysfunctional home. Okay. Growing up, as a child, there's a lot that I blocked out. I have a lot of trauma response, right? Like, going through my life, I've had a lot of issues that went back to my childhood. Okay. Then, as I was going through life, I was rebellious. I was a rebellious child. I had a child when I was a child. Okay. I hung out with the wrong crowds. I did all of those things, right? I got into, as an adult, another abusive relationship that I thought I would never get out of, right? And so, lots of things, lots of struggles in life, right? But why I'm telling you all of this is because if you are my friend on social media, or even, if you're one of my close friends in real life, you probably know about all that. It's not a hidden thing. I talk about it all the time. I talk about trauma. I talk about struggles all the time. As a matter of fact, even when we finally made it in network marketing, and we were very blessed. Okay. We were 6-7 figure earners in different companies, but I talk about the times that I struggled and that I lost it all. Okay. And the fact of the matter is that, you can sit there and you can look at other people's lives, and you can look at their posts on social media, and you could say, oh my gosh, like, this person is so lucky. They've made so much money. They're going on all of these trips. But the real truth of the matter is, guys, that sometimes you don't see their downs. You don't see those moments that they are struggling. And that struggle is who made me today. Right. And so when I talk about not being so vanilla, it goes hand in hand with talking about being your authentic self and showing your vulnerability. And there's going to be people on here, guys, that you might be social media people, but there's people that are like, listen, I do nothing on social media. So, Shanna, I don't know if you have anything to offer me. And I absolutely do right now, because it's not just social media, guys. It's about your lives, right? Even in everyday life, when you are doing business, right? People need to know, how do you stand out? Okay. What makes somebody want to come and get a scan done from you versus somebody else, right? There's always got to be that you that shines through, right? And so I took notes today, because I always do, because I have squirrel brain. And so most of the time I won't have to look down and look at my notes, but I did take some because I wanted to make sure that I start covering all of the different points. Okay. The reason why I chose this to talk about today is because when I get down, sometimes my creativity goes away, right? Anybody on here, put a 1 in the comments if you've ever felt very like overwhelmed and I hate that word, but you feel like you're in this like slump area and then your creativity, you're burnt out, you've worked yourself to the bone and your creativity just completely goes to the drain, right? And so that is how I will get sometimes if I'm stressed out, I need to take a break. I need to recharge. That's what I call it, right? But if I'm on social and I am sharing my life and I am a little spicy in my posts, and I will have people that come into my inbox, and guys, that's when I make the most sales. That's when I make the most sales, is when I'm talking about myself, my lifestyle, and the things that are going on in my life. And sometimes that's a little bit scary. Sometimes it's a little bit spicy because you just kind of say what you want to say, okay? But sometimes it's a little scary too because you're opening up and you're like, oh my God, how are people going to feel about what I just put out there? How are people going to feel about what I posted? Have you ever made a post before and then right after it deleted it? Or typed out the post and then you're about to hit that you were going to post it and then you just didn't, right? And that is because our brains are programmed to say danger, danger, danger. Like, what if this person doesn't like what I was just saying? Or what if I get deleted by somebody? But what we don't realize is, that whole term, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Like, you want people to be attracted to you that are like you, that are, like, here's another example. I've had people come to me on my team before and say, why do I always attract the weirdos? Like, why do I always attract these people who are always like, oh my God, why isn't this working for me? I'm so overwhelmed. And all they do is complain. And they then you go and you look at their work and they don't do anything. They don't make posts, they don't do anything. Like, why do I always attract these people? Okay, guys, I hate to break it to you, but you attract what you're putting out there, right? Like, your vibe attracts those same people, okay? So if you're scared to post something that you're going through, or a struggle that you're going through, or something that you think, oh my gosh, could this offend this person or whatever, I want you to give yourself the permission. It's okay to offend somebody. It's okay. If somebody is on your page and they're sitting there watching you, guess what's going to happen? The people who relate to you, the people who are really truly your people, the people who have a story like your story, or I promise you, they're going to be in your inbox talking to you about their same struggles, about how they feel like you have just empowered them to go and have a voice themselves, right? Okay. And I hope, James, that this is going to be a 20-minute thing, but I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Okay. So why don't you want to be vanilla? Why do you want to be able to have your authentic self out there? Is because when somebody comes to you and gets a scan, right? And you show your personality and your little quirks. Okay, that's what I like to call them, quirks, right? Have you ever walked into a store and you went in there and the girl at the cash register cracks you up or tells you some stuff in their life? Like, that just happened to me. I'm not gonna lie. I was in the store and I go through the line, and the lady at the register, as she's scanning her stuff, she's like talking away to me. She must have needed somebody to talk to. She was telling me about her life. She was cracking me up. We were laughing together. And when I left, I was like, she's funny. Like, I actually can't wait till the next time I get to talk to that person, right? It's sharing those little parts of yourself that you're sometimes scared to open up. And guys, drop down in the comments. I want you to do this really quick. Drop in the comments If I were to ask your best friend, your spouse, somebody who's really close to you, what three characteristics, three things about you that stand out, what would they say? What would they say to me? And you can even ask your audience this on Facebook, guys. You could go or Instagram, wherever your damn is. Okay. You can go and you can ask your audience, what are three things? What are top three things that you think of when you think of me? Right. And some of you guys are going to find that hard. Some of you guys are going to find that hard to answer, but there's something special, guys, something spicy, okay? And every single one of you, I promise you, that is dying to come out. It's dying to be released. And that one thing, if you get enough courage to share that part of yourselves with other people, I promise you, your sales are going to go up. Some of the posts that I've written that people have come into my inbox and they're like, girl, I just read that post and holy crap, I was feeling every bit of it. I swear. And then they're like, what's that detox stuff that you sell? What? Like, how did that just happen? Right? But because I just made a connection with somebody that is so strong that it doesn't matter that I didn't talk about our product in that. Okay. But they're sure enough going to buy my product because guess what? I stood out from the rest, right? In a way that I opened myself up and I let something out that is maybe a little bit scary. But those scary moments are going to lead to like the best moments ever, okay? And best relationships. I've met some really awesome people doing stuff like this, okay? Um okay, what else did I want to talk about? Okay. So the flavors that sell, okay? So bold opinions, okay? And this is something that everybody is scared to do. Everybody everybody is scared to put their opinions out there, right? But I will tell you that that will connect you to your tribe, right? There's sometimes that I make posts, and if you go onto my page, I'm going to give you a little example, right? I usually, ChatGPT knows me really, really freaking well, right? And every single time that I even make a post about our products, it adds a little spice in there, right? And so I can sit there and I can type up this post and I'm like, okay, let me just like, I always tell it not to change my words because I need to be me, right? And I'm like, well, don't change what I've written, but just like, make it a little more me, spice it up a little bit, right? And there's always going to be something in my post that kind of is a little bit controversial, whether it like makes somebody talk a little bit, or maybe I'll say, you know, stop, like put down that energy drink, like, you know, that's just a band-aid, that's a quick fix. Sorry to tell you guys, you know, but you know, you need to fix. Hold on, somebody is calling me and it's messing me all up. Okay. But and I'll say something like, you know, that's a band-aid. You know, you need to fix something from the root issue or something, you know, but it's always going to be something. So I just made a post recently, right? And I was like, so I finally get to sleep like a husband, right? I finally get to sleep like a husband. Now, husbands might not may not like that, but us women, we can relate, right? And so people were commenting under it. Okay, you got me right there, like a husband. Oh my God, you know, or you know, I might just have a little like one liner in there that shows them this is Shanna. This is a Shanna post, right? Okay. And maybe it's your thing isn't going to be spicy, but maybe your thing is that you want to share something that you're scared to share, something that you're scared to put out there, a story that or a struggle, or maybe you're like sitting here and you're like, man, I'm in one of those slumps right now. I'm in one of those valleys right now, but I don't want people to know about that. But why not? Because so many people are in a valley right now and they need you. They need you. They need you to be real and you to share that story, right? Okay, so transparency is the next one. I kind of covered all of that. I'm not going to get back into that. And personality quirks. So, like, some people say to me, I don't know, I'm just weird. I feel like I'm like socially awkward or I'm just weird. You know how many weird people are going to relate to that? There's so many weird people out there that are going to relate to that, right? And so this is just a topic that I sit so comfortable in because I just am very much about authenticity and really showing your true self. And I'm going to tell you a couple of things. Like, some people are going to be like, well, how does this suit me in an idea where I'm in person with somebody? And you're talking a lot about posts, right? Because I'm social media. I'm 99% on social media, guys. Although I'm starting to look into doing some in-person stuff because this this scanner is really something else. Okay, this scanner is really something else. But I will say, I want to make sure that it relates so that both ways of doing business, that you can understand. Okay. Um, so what I want, the next thing that I want you to do is those three things that I asked you to put that your best friend or your significant other would tell me. Okay. I want you to now take those three words and look back at, like, your social media content or the last time that you had an interaction with somebody about the business. Maybe you were scanning somebody. Did you bring that out? Did you bring that personality trait, or did you talk to that person a little bit about, maybe your story or maybe yourself, or show that part, that quirk, or that part of your personality out there? Because again, it doesn't matter whether you're on social media or in person. Those things are things that are going to make you stand out. People are going to want to come back and see you because they start to learn who you are, right? So if you haven't, then my big challenge to you is to go out there and be spicy. Bring out, and I promise you, I just want you to do this. Just do this for me, right? Bring out that thing that you are scared, that you've deleted before, or you are scared to share with people, or you are just scared that people are going to see that side of you that is probably the one thing that you're quelling is probably the one thing that is going to attract people to you the most, right? So go out there and make that post. Go out there and have that conversation, because being your authentic true self will always attract people to you. Let's see. Yes, quelling. Okay, so first off, okay, people are going to ask me, like, well, what does spicy or bringing yourself out versus vanilla content look like? Okay, so I was laughing because I made a couple posts this past week about product, but I always, like I said, always added that little bit of me in there. And so I wrote down like a couple things, right, just so I can give you an idea of what I mean by that. So saying something like this, like, your cortisol is higher than your credit card bill, and yet you're still drinking that Red Bull, girl, right? Like, that right there, people are gonna stop and be like, holy crap, I am, right? Like, I still am drinking that Red Bull, right? And you're complaining about your stress levels and all of that, right? This can be your first part of going into talking about V energy, talking about detox, right? And how there's a different way to do it, to go about doing it, right? It could be like, while you're in person, you are sharing a story, a part of a struggle that you yourself have been through, right? That this has now helped you with. I'm going to get a little TMI here, okay? Because that's me. When I did my scan, okay? How many of you found something on your scan that you literally were like, that's not true? I don't have that wrong with me. Are you kidding me? Like, you were in this like complete denial, right? And I was like, that was me. There was a couple things on my scan and I'm like, like that's not, there's no way, right? And one of them was very personal, right? And I said to my husband, this is so dumb. I don't know why it showed that. And literally, not 5 days later, we went off on vacation and it happened. What the scan said was a area of concern, which was a very TMI area. Okay, it wound up happening, right? And so when I'm talking to some of my girlfriends and they get in my inbox and they're like, well, how accurate is this? You have the naysayers, how accurate is this? Blah blah. And I was like, well, you want to know how accurate it was? Okay, let me give it to you straight. This thing said I had a problem with something, and I went away 5 days later, and oh my God, if something did not happen with, and I was like, oh my God, it literally was right. And then they're like, oh wow, it's that accurate? Sign me up, right? Again, you just let a personal thing out. You just shared a story that, maybe it's not the best story. Maybe it's not something so comfortable, right, to say. But man, I let it out, and boy, oh boy, did they say, oh my gosh, okay, I'm down, let's go. They went from being skeptical to being completely non-skeptical anymore, right? Just because I let that part out. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. I promise. Okay, 11:26. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. Okay, so my last thing I'm gonna say as your challenge. Okay, I can promise you, every single one of us has unique characteristics. It doesn't have to be that you're like me, who who just kind of goes out there and says what I feel and says what's on my mind. It may be that you're somebody who has really had struggles in your life that you were ashamed of, that you didn't want to talk about. I had a girl who she was on my team. She lost her social media. She had 20,000 followers. She lost her social media completely. Okay. And she came to me and she was like, I can't do this. I just lost my social media. How am I going to do this business? And I said, girl, I can't even imagine. That is probably one of my worst fears. However, I know that you can do this. And she said to me, I just don't even know how to start. And I said, start off by being you, by sharing your story, by being yourself. Put yourself out there and start a new freaking social media. She did. And within that first month, she hit 10,000 in sales, something she had never done before, with a brand new account that she had. And she started going out there and she started telling her story. And her story was a little bit deep. It was something that she didn't want to share with a lot of people. She had been in a really, really abusive situation, and she was always scared to open up about it, right? And she started off that new page with that theme, like, I am here to help other women get through this, get through this trauma, right? And she just started being herself and sharing her story, and boom, she hit 10K in the first month. She's never even done that ever in any kind of network marketing business she had, right? So my advice to you guys is dig deep, share yourself, be your authentic self, find your spicy. Okay, stop being so vanilla. Go out there and share yourself with people. Every single one of you has something inside of you that is dying to come out. And even, guys, you are going to make so many connections and relationships, even outside of business, because you were you. And there's a lot of people that need you. They need you out there. Okay. So I'm going to end with this. I hope that you guys got some value from this. Drop one in the comments if you got some value from this. Who's going to go get spicy? That's what I want to know. right? Spicy, spicy, spicy in the comments. Who's going to get spicy and just go out there, be your authentic self and just kind of touch other people's lives because they need you. And that's all I got. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Go out there and I want to see your spicy posts.